All right, so this has been a crazy week in the world of Xbox, and we're going to go over a lot of things that has happened, a lot of updates with this ABK deal, and go over how we feel about the state of Xbox. All right, so this week has been a roller coaster with regards to the ABK deal. It started off with people thinking that if the deal was going to get blocked based on, just reports of what information was being sent at the last hearing prior to them announcing that they signed these contracts with Nintendo and Nvidia, about 10-year deals for Call of Duty. And then they started being reports about Microsoft possibly spinning off or selling Xbox if this deal ends up getting blocked by either the EU or the CMA or the FTC. And then after that, there started being other reports that the EU is looking like it's going to end up approving these deals based on the contract signed by Nintendo and Nvidia to have Call of Duty for 10 years and all the Xbox games on GeForce Now, which was being reported by Reuters.
Do you think Sony is going to eventually agree to one of these deals, let's say a 10-year deal, or they are going to fight this till the end?
That was a possibility. I don't think Sony is going to ever agree. What's most likely going to happen is the EU, in their report, they're going to say that they're going to approve the deal with the concessions of them having to put Call of Duty on PlayStation, on Nintendo, on Steam, and everybody for the next 10 years. If they do say that, Sony doesn't have to agree. They by default are going to get it for the 10 years, contract signed or not. So I think that's the game that Sony's playing right now.
And with that said, what if the merger goes through anyway? At that point, will Microsoft say, hey, we don't got the same deal that we had for Nintendo and Nvidia, we actually got a worse deal now because you took so long trying to block this deal?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter if they sign it or not. And I think that's the game. Their game is delay. Make this take as long as possible while they're selling more PlayStation 5s, because realistically, most people are not just gonna just out of nowhere buy an Xbox when they already got a PS5 just because Call of Duty's on Game Pass. That doesn't make any sense, especially with this economy right now, with inflation and prices and everything. So as long as PlayStation keeps the market share like they have, it's not really gonna matter. They're still gonna be selling Call of Duty on their system.
I think at this point, Xbox already knows that they will not catch up to PlayStation 5 in this generation. I think Xbox is playing the PC Game Pass game better, and I think that Call of Duty on PC Game Pass still hurts PlayStation 5. Like you said, of paying $69.99 for a Call of Duty on a PlayStation 5 for those who have a PlayStation 5 and a PC, or get Game Pass and be able to play that same game on PC, I think that's when it becomes kind of scary for Sony. And I think that is as they should, because you made a great point. No one is going to go out of their way and even purchase the Xbox Series S in order to play Call of Duty free. But what if they already have a gaming PC? That transition would be easier, especially for those who do have a PlayStation and PC.
And the reality of the situation is people who have gaming PCs generally do not subscribe to Game Pass. They just buy their games on Steam. You even see it with the Xbox games that are on Steam. They sell, like the PC versions, they sell on Steam. They are usually in the top selling games. The PC gamer does not subscribe to PC Game Pass to get these games. If they're locked in on Steam, that's where they're going to play them. That's where they're going to buy them. But even so, that's still a win for Microsoft. They're still spending the money. The real problem is, like you were saying about this gen, where they said themselves after that meeting, the market share is 70-30 global, Sony to Microsoft. Like, that's terrible. There's no coming back from that. Doesn't matter how this, like, they flopped this gen. They had a chance in the beginning, but last year, when they had no exclusives, it just killed all their momentum. I don't know how they were making these reports where they were saying they were winning, but that 70-30, that's the killer. That's not good. That made me feel really bad when they said that.
I mean, let's be honest. When we think about Xbox exclusives, we think about Flight Simulator, we think about Forza. For this generation, of course, that's what I'm talking about. Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X. What exclusives do we have that we can say we play on Xbox? Halo was supposed to be that, and they delayed it to get it out when they did, and it still wasn't complete. And that was supposed to be the game that made people buy these systems, and it failed miserably, unfortunately. And now what do we have? Yes, we once again we had the Forzas. It's not going to be a console seller in comparison to the battle between the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. So what games are making the fans go to Xbox? That's the biggest problem. And all of these studios that they have with these promises of great, amazing games that haven't come to fruition yet, I think that's the real problem. It's been 3 years already in this generation, and we don't have anything. And we've been saying this for several videos now, but it's the reality of where Xbox is. And I don't think outside of this year, where they have some good exclusives coming, they have Redfall, they have Starfield, of course, but then what do we have after that?
On that note, I want to talk about this article that IGN put out, and this was written by Ryan McCaffrey, and he's done this several times. And I really like Ryan McCaffrey. I like his opinion. I listen to podcasts Unlocked every week, and this is like the third time he's done this, and it's just when he did it, I was just like, oh, here we go again. So he puts up this article that Game Pass is having the best streak it's had in a long time, and I was like, no, why did you do this? The last time he did this, it was in last year, 2001. When he said the drought is over, Xbox has games again. And this was after Halo Infinite. And then that preceded a year of nothing. And he even regrets writing that article. But yeah, this one comes out and they're talking about the games on Game Pass, the streak. So it starts with Hi-Fi Rush, which we said is a great game, but it's also a small game, not a AAA game. I don't care what anybody says. The main thing that makes a game a AAA game is the budget. That game did not have that much of a budget. They developed it. There was no marketing for that game, which is a majority of the budget that makes something AAA, is the way it's marketed, which this game was not. It was shadow dropped. It's $40 and it's had 2 million players. That's not a AAA game. That's a AA game. And it's fine. It's a great game. I'm not trying to minimize it, but that's not a AAA game. What's the next game he puts in there? Atomic Heart, which gets middling reviews, 6s and 7s. Woo! That's exactly what I want to see in Game Pass. What's the next game coming out? The game that came out this past week, Wolong Fallen Dynasty, is made by Team Ninja, getting 7s and 8s. Woo! Another banger. Great. Then what's coming out next month? Minecraft Legends. Come on, man. And what's after that? Redfall. All right, finally something. So we got this gap. We got a year of nothing. We got a shadow drop, great game, but not the game that's moving systems and moving subscriptions. Then you got a 3-month period of 7/8. Then you get Redfall, which hopefully is great. That's not sustainable. That's not going to close this 70-30 gap.
You're absolutely right. I think out of the games that have recently dropped, let's look at the positives right now. Hi-Fi Rush, small game, but a successful game. It sold a lot. It had a lot of players on Steam. It had a lot of players on Series X who were able to play it on Game Pass, and it had positive, favorable reviews. It was a success for all intents and purposes, even though not the AAA game they needed. We need more of those type of games surrounding AAA games in general. So that was a positive. Wolong, it has good reviews from what I see. Not amazing overall universal praise, but I think the Metacritic for it right now is in the low 80s, which is a respectable score. I haven't played it personally, but from what I'm seeing in terms of videos and people playing it, people are enjoying the game. But what that says a lot, the fact that me and you haven't even touched it, nor do we have any real reason to touch it.
I want to cut you off right here when you say that you seem a lot of people are enjoying the game. I think people are capping about enjoying this game, because there's another game that came out a couple weeks ago called Hogwarts Legacy, which I actually see your average Joe playing and talking about. I see the TikToks, I see the memes, players who are level 40 when they add multiplayer to this game, which is most likely not going to happen. But your average everyday Joe doesn't know that, and they put in clips from the Harry Potter movies with Voldemort doing Avada Kedavra on people. It's hilarious. That is the game of the moment. That is the type of caliber games that you need on Game Pass. People capping about this Wolong, talking about they playing it and enjoying it. It's a great. No, people are playing and enjoying Hogwarts Legacy. That's what people are playing and enjoying. That's the game people spent $70 on, and millions of people spent $80 on, such as myself, to get that early access of that game. That is the game of the moment that people are enjoying.
I think you forget one important fact when we're comparing Wolong to Hogwarts Legacy. And that is, Hogwarts Legacy is a current generation only game, where Wolong is available for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So there are a subset of gamers who are playing that game and enjoying it. Those same gamers who have yet to upgrade to a Series X, Series S, or PlayStation 5. Although not many, you know, we already have 30 million plus PlayStation 5. We have, I don't know how many Xbox Ones, but we have a lot of millions of players playing next gen, but not as much as PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox One gamers. So there are people playing it. It's not going to overshadow the 12 plus million copies of Hogwarts Legacy. You're absolutely right with that. But I think the Game Pass and PC gamers are playing it. Maybe those who didn't want to spend the $69.99 on Hogwarts Legacy. And I'm just saying it may be all right. I think I'm going to take a look at it to see how I like it.
I played the demo when it came out last year. And you know what I'd rather play? Elden Ring. And you know what's the next Elden Ring? Hogwarts Legacy.
I think we have a lot of positive when we think about Xbox in the year of 2023 versus the first 2 years of this generation. Like you said, there's a lot of work to be done, especially if this Activision deal goes through. I think these are only positive things for Xbox moving forward, but there is nothing written in stone. We still don't know how the critics will review Redfall, how it will be seen by the fans. We don't even know if this game is going to be great. We hope it is, and it needs to be.
Yeah, same thing goes for Starfield. Starfield is very important to the success of Xbox this year. They can't Halo this game and rush it out the door and just to let it flounder and die a horrible death. I mean, all signs are pointing to this deal finally gonna go through. We had our doubts. I had my doubts based on the just irrational concessions that the CMA were offering up, of spinning off Call of Duty or spinning off Activision. Like, that was crazy. The fact that they said they were going to be open to behavioral remedies, but then they had these ridiculous, outrageous remedies that they had in mind. There's no way the behavioral remedies were going to be anywhere close to rational, and they would have gone through with it. The deal would have died. That's what I thought was going to happen. But now we got these signs that it's going to go through, and it's going to be great. What I'm hoping for is, if Redfall doesn't hit, they'll be able to get Diablo on Game Pass, which is going to be a certified smash, and I will be very happy to play Diablo 4 on Game Pass.
If you liked our content, mash that like button, and if you're new to the channel and want to see more content, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.